And exactly the same in the business world. We don't want to become too blinkered and focused on, just the arduous, difficult sides of our jobs. That big sales pitch or whatever it is that you're working on. We want people to be able to step away from that. So I'm really passionate about resilience. When I did my master's in psychology, I spent a ridiculous amount of time actually stuck in resilience, and because I find it fascinating. Because a younger Gregg or a Gregg before, higher education perhaps would have said, resilience is the ability to face adversity or perform and do difficult tasks. So I genuinely thought it was a switch or an innate ability where, the more I've learned and, the more life experience and the more I've observed, different communities, including sport, including the military, it really is, resilience for me is about the ability to continually do that. It's not just a one-off event. We don't want it to be that. We don't want people to, achieve something incredible and crash and burn. We want people to be able to, dip their toe into a stressful environment, but be able to sustain that, and for me that's about, I call it fierce compassion. So it's about, being accountable. It's about being able to listen to feedback, but actually it's about self-care. It's about taking rest. It's about celebrating successes, wins. It's about, getting enough sleep, from a physiological point of view, looking after yourself, getting enough sleep, taking time away from the screen, getting out for a walk, taking the dog out, whatever those healthy habits are, really help sort of the foundations and the underpinning things that really help you to build a resilience, social connection, time with family members, being in a love safe environment, incredibly important things. So yeah, I think I kind of learned the hard way that actually, yeah, when I think back to 3 o'clock in the morning on Dartmoor on the commando course, worrying about an inspection of my rifle and it's raining, and yeah, that's resilience because it's really difficult and not many people are able to do that. But I was able to do that because of the support network around me, and having that real purpose and excitement to achieve something. It wasn't that I was special or I could withstand. I could do those things, but I could do those things because I had that, that grounding, that ability to, have, supportive peers, shared driven goals. Those things really helped me, to get through. And I see the same in elite sport. Those people that are able to, rest when not at training. Those people that do have, other things going on, maybe work opportunities, higher education. These other things going on really does help. And exactly the same in the business world. We don't want to become too blinkered and focused on, just the arduous, difficult sides of our jobs. That big sales pitch or whatever it is that you're working on. We want people to be able to step away from that and come back to it, because to give 100% all the time is impossible. But what we want is people to be able to deliver, an exciting, ambitious project and take time away, take time with family, go and get involved, learn a new skill, you enjoy your hobbies, all these things that are incredibly important to developing resilience. So yeah, my key message is that resilience is definitely not a switch that we can turn on and off. It's a skill, and like any skill, it needs to be practiced. So I'm a mental health practitioner by trade after leaving the military. So I'm a big fan of how we consider mental health, especially in the workplace. And for me, it's that it's having compassion, and understanding that, the old school sort of mentality of just working until you achieve something. It's probably not the healthiest way to do it. Yes, it'll deliver a result, but as business leaders, and as good team members, we need to keep an eye on each other, and we need to make sure that people are, taking time away, that they are engaging in, self-care, practices that support being able to operate within an elite environment. Let's face facts. Delivering in an elite environment is stressful. And we want people to be able to do that. So if we don't take mental health seriously, I don't see how we do that sustainably and fairly. We want to be able to keep an eye on our clients. We want to be able to keep an eye on people who work for us. And for me, absolutely having that as part of your culture is incredibly important, and I think it's really obvious when people do celebrate that as part of their culture. Being big enough to say, that these are things we need. So being boundaried with your time is often a big one we discuss, and we discussed that at rowing. When is it appropriate to contact each other? I didn't want to talk about rowing at 10 o'clock in the evening. I wanted to go to bed, and I didn't want that thought in my head. And so one thing I learned was to be fair to myself, and to be healthy, was to actually say that for me, that's not appropriate. I'd like you to contact me, or is there an app I can get that actually shuts the phone off? So just thinking about things that keep you well. But I really think that that's got to be top down. We want organizations to acknowledge that, and just to spread messages like as simple as that. Being boundaried with your time, refreshing, taking time away from the screen, things that can sound defeatist when you've got a big task ahead, but actually are incredibly important. And yeah, when we talk about resilience and people being well, I think are incredibly important. I hope that people, are inspired by my story. There has been, ups and downs. It's about learning from, my successes as well as, the challenges that I've faced. I've got a raw honesty, in the way I deliver my sessions. But also, I want people to learn that actually, my key message throughout everything is that, elite performance doesn't have to mean sacrificing every other area of your life. Actually, there's so much symmetry, and, there's so much need for other things to be going on to actually truly deliver our best over a period of time. It's incredibly important to engage in strategies that support our mental health, our well-being, things like keeping up regular exercise, thinking about the physiological benefits of good sleep, of balanced diet, but coupling that with learning opportunities and development, and maintaining being positive, and all this things that I want to talk about and that I've learned through a significant life experience, but coupling that with the parts of my career, such as the military, as an armed forces commando, but also ultimately winning a gold medal at the Paralympics recently, but also my time as a mental health practitioner in the NHS. So I think they're my key themes and the messages I'd love people to take away from my talks.